All right, so we return with World Cup 2026 Extra Time. My name is Steven Rabinowitz. We are on Instagram, we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook at the appropriate World Cup 2026 Extra Time socials. Okay, so we have two games to look back on and then two games to preview on this quick edition. Let's talk about the two games from the one game from last night, which was late. I don't want you to all click me at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to click myself at 1 o'clock in the morning. So let's head to that game, and that was Switzerland, Algeria. Switzerland has just been cruising along. They get the draw versus Qatar to start, but they've won everything since. And they win here in another comfortable fashion, 2-0 to get themselves back into the round of 16. It was interesting just because of the fact that Switzerland just kind of, I don't want to say eased into this game, but they looked pretty comfortable. And it's good when you're kind of comfortable going into a game, especially a game when you kind of know you have the better players. And Mdolo scores in the 10th minute, Doye scores in the 46th minute. Switzerland just kind of have most of the game. They don't have the possession. They lose the possession 55 to 44, but they have the better shots, they have the better chances, and it was comfortable. And Zinedine Zidane's son was in goal for this game, that being Lucas Zidane. And he did kind of show himself well, but he started brightly, but this was just pretty much a Switzerland onslaught. Again, more shots, 11 shots to 8, more on target shots, 6-2. There was a point late in the game when Fabian Rieder missed a completely empty net, and that kind of hurts a little bit. But Switzerland have won their last three games now by the total of 8-2. They've been pretty solid in stealth here, and they have a chance now to reach the quarterfinals for the first time in, trying to think if I do the math, 72 years. That's 1954. They are ready to go, and it's going to be very interesting to see them against either Colombia or Ghana when they play next week in Vancouver. They'll play on Tuesday. The game that just happened this afternoon was Egypt, Australia. Egypt was looking to finally get themselves one more round of 16 team, and they finally do it as Egypt beats Australia on penalties. 4-2 on penalties, 1-1 in the game. This is a good game too. Australia actually did have more shots, but this time Egypt had more possession and they had more of the better shots on goal. They probably should have been leading this at halftime by at least 2-0 when Imam Ashur scores in the 13th minute. Australia did eventually score. It's not on their own accord in the 55th minute because Mohamed Hani scores an own goal in the 55th minute, meaning that streak continues of not scoring. They ended up not scoring for, I think it ends up being like the last 300 minutes of the World Cup. Australia does. We do go to extra time, our third, and then no one scores there. So we do have our third penalty shootout. And two things. Number one, Australia decides to sub out the goalie and put in Matthew Ryan. Uh, Patrick Beach gets subbed out, had a very good game, had three saves on his own. And Matthew Ryan comes in. He's the veteran. He's the guy who kind of is been just the solid man back there for years. And he saves nothing. He doesn't touch anything. Every guess he makes is wrong. Egypt puts in two center backs. Australia puts in two center backs to take shots. That's the result you're going to get. So luckily, we're criticizing Australia's manager decision, and we're not criticizing a ref today. So Egypt wins. They move on. They'll play the winner of Argentina Capo Verde, which will start in about an hour from right now. Okay. With all that being said, we have games tomorrow, the 4th of July. We're going to preview those two games now. Quickly, Canada Morocco starts off the round of 16 at 1 p.m. Canada has not won against Morocco. They're winless in the four matches. They actually just met in the 2022 World Cup, losing 2-1 in the group stage. Canada, of course, won on a pretty much last second regular time victory, winning in stoppage time against South Africa. And Morocco won in penalties on Monday against the Netherlands. What could be very interesting to see is, will Alphonso Davies play more? He played after like the 75th minute and Sunday against South Africa, and he looked good. That was probably when their offense was at its best. But he could make a timely appearance here. He could possibly start, who knows? But if he ends up starting, you know that they're going to try to get a big goal to start the game, and they're going to need to get it right immediately, because if they don't, this could be a long day for them. Steven Esquitino scoring, who ended up being the first number 7 to represent Portugal to score at a World Cup knockout game. Luckily, Ronaldo did score last night to put that in. That'll be very important. Canada can also bring in Nathan Saliba. That's who kind of taking place of Kone, who got injured in the Qatar game with that very, very dirty slide by Qatar. But Morocco's midfield is a big step up in quality, and that's going to be a huge key for this game. They didn't get the goal that they needed until stoppage time on Monday versus the Netherlands, but they really put on the pressure for all of that game. Take a look at Akaf Hakimi. He will probably make his 15th World Cup appearances here. He's had 5 goal contributions over his last 7 games for country, 1 goal, 4 assists. The goalie had a big time day against that penalty shootout against the Netherlands, making 1 or 2 big saves in there. Saliba is going to be a big productive forward in this game. That's going to be a huge key. I like Morocco. I think they just have too much firepower in this game. And, Canada has got it done versus Qatar and South Africa, but you're not facing a team who's making their second World Cup appearance, second or third World Cup appearance anymore. You're facing a team who has a very good chance to make the semifinals, and a possible looming matchup with France is looming. So I have Morocco winning 3-1. Paraguay, France, they play tomorrow in Philadelphia, 4th of July, Philadelphia. How could it be better? Paraguay has never defeated France in 5 previous encounters. They played twice in FIFA, in the World Cup. They've lost 7-3 in the group stage of 58, and actually played a very meaningful match in the 98 World Cup, where France got a golden goal, and golden goal was still a thing. And that was probably the closest match that they've played on the way to winning the World Cup in 98. They last met in 2017, 5-0 for France. Paraguay, obviously, as you know, they won in penalties 4-3, 1-1 tie against Germany, but did win in penalties on Monday. France beat Sweden pretty convincingly 3-0 on Tuesday in New York. Gustavo Alfaro will be Gustavo Alfaro has been a very good Paraguay side. Obviously, you'll remember the 1998 game a lot. South Americans have been relishing the role of the underdogs. Did it versus Germany, should do it here. Diego Gomez will be back. He had a 1-game suspension in the match for the match against Germany. He will be very good to help out Andres Cubas. Jose Canale will also maintain his starting role across veteran defender Gustavo Gomez. That'll be a huge right defensive shield. The strategic battle, though, is going to be, what will you do against France's defense? Obviously, you have Kylian Mbappe, who is chasing not only the Golden Boot, but the World Cup record in this World Cup. He is amazing. He scored 2 goals on Tuesday in their game. But take a look at Ousmane Dembele, who's been excellent, was excellent in that game against Norway. Bradley Barcola, you're going to be able to, if they pin the fullbacks deep, that's going to leave Mbappe many big chances. It's tough. Like I said, and if France can make sure that Paraguay when France gets stopped, if Paraguay can be if they don't allow Paraguay to make sure the defensive actions turn into sudden attacking momentum, this could be a long day for Paraguay. I'm gonna give it a 2-0 game for France. I would love to see this be a close game or this go in extra time or go into shootout, but France is the favorite right now for a reason. Maybe Argentina shows up tonight versus Cape Verde and changes my mind, but I think this is France's tournament right now to lose. I do have England winning it. Again, things can change during the World Cup, but right now France is just looking like a well-oiled machine and is destined to possibly make the round of 16. The winners of those two games, by the way, will play on Thursday next week, and they will play in Foxborough in the last game that'll be played in Boston Stadium, technically. All right, we'll talk again tomorrow. We'll talk about the last two matches of the round of 32. That's Argentina Cabo Verde and Ghana Colombia, and I will preview the Sunday games in the round of 16. Both are blockbusters. We will talk tomorrow. This is World Cup 2026 Extra Time.